We're here in Sha'ar HaYichud, and we're going to continue in our series called Neshama Neshima. We are in the chapter called Etz Chaim on the 138th page, learning about the Malbim. The Malbim is an amazing mifaresh, amazing commentator on Tanakh, and he is essentially the person that opened up all of the deeper understandings to sweeten up the harshness and the nasty things that go on in Nach, that would make a person lose their emunah if they didn't have a good answer on how in the world did a king of Israel do something like that. Came the Malbim to give us all of the depth behind all of these different stories and to teach us how we don't know anything. And the Torah is much deeper than just a storybook. There's a whole bunch of tikkunim and connections and gilgulim and all these different things that the naked eye, the untrained eye, isn't able to pick up, and the Malbim in his Ruach HaKodesh was able to give us pirushim. So the Malbim says on Truma, שדעת חז"ל והמקובלים שהחוכמה האלוהית והנבואה הוא מתייחס אל המוח שעליו משפיע רוח הנבואה. Chazal and all of the Mekubalim say that what's Chokhmah Elohit, this godly knowledge, right, or the knowledge of God, it goes both ways, and prophecy is mainly related to the brain, where that is where they bring this ruach of prophecy, the spirit of prophecy gets brought down on a person's brain, on their mind. אבל התבונה האנושית מיוחס אל הלב. But the understanding and going into the details, that belongs to the heart. Halev mivin, the heart understands, right? Not the brain understands. שעל ידי שתניף הראייה על הלב ותנשוב אוויר צח ומזוקק יעלה עד דק אל המוח לטהר את כליו עד שיגבר בו כוח התבונה להבין דבר מתוך דבר בבינתו. Similar to what Rav Nachman says, right? From the Tikkun Zohar, that if it wasn't for the lungs blowing over the heart would incinerate, would burn the whole entire body. So here he's saying a different thing. He's saying godly wisdom attached to your mind. Understanding of life attached to your heart. When your lungs breathe, what happens? A thin vapor comes from your heart, from the understanding of the heart, up into the brain, connects with the wisdom, and from that you understand, you get another level of understanding. What is true understanding? When your heart sends messages up to the brain, and on that level, with the heart there, you understand it. ופרי התבונה הזאת הם שבע חוכמות שהמציאו בני אדם משכלם. What is the outcome of that process, of the connection of the heart to the mind? What's called the 7 philosophies of the world, the 7 wisdoms that humans came up with, that mankind are responsible for. ולעומת זה היה במנורה שמורה על אור השכל 7 קנים שכולם פונים אל נר האמצעי שהיא החוכמה האלוהית. That's in the world, right? We don't go according to the 7 wisdoms of the world, we go according to the wisdom of the Torah. Connected to Chokhmah is the idea of shemen, of oil. In the menorah, in the temple, there were 7 branches of the menorah, and all of their wicks and their flames were pointing towards the middle branch of the menorah. And that middle branch was going straight up to Hashem, right? So you had all the candles inclined towards the middle of the menorah. Why? The Malbim says that middle menorah with that candle going straight up to Hashem, that's Chokhmah Elohit, that's godly wisdom. Right? That's what we had in the menorah, in the Beit HaMikdash. Right? So that is also related to the 7 different wings of the Re'iyah. Rabbeinu says there's 5, here he says there's 7. שהם מניפים רוח צח אל המוח וידליקו 7 נרות המנורה. Your lungs have 7 wings to them. They inhale, exhale, and blow air. That air goes up to your brain, which is also called the 7 branches of the menorah, right? Middle branch, 2, 2, and 2. There you have 7. That's what's called Pnei Menorah, Torah Kaf Aleph 21 in Likutei Moharan. Therefore, the menorah was put in the south, right? So to the Arizal, today's the Elul of the Ari. The Arizal says also we should have the father of the table on Shabbat with the bread sits at the north side of the table, and the candles at the southern side of the table. That's what the Arizal writes in his song. It's a good practice to do if you can, because that's how it was in the Beit HaMikdash. And then your candles are the menorah, and your table is the mizbeach, and you shecht it on the northern side, right? And then your eating becomes a korban, right? Because you have to shecht what's safun, you have to shecht what's hidden. Meaning shecht what hides away the spark of Hashem there. And when you do, where do you do that? On the northern side. Eating was done on the northern side. Therefore, they put the menorah in the south. Your lungs, so to say, are on the right side to your heart, which is on the left. And then you have to the north, right? You have your shulchan, lechem apanim, the table and the showbread. That's on the left side. V'aya b'menorah memtet dvarim shehem shiva kanim v'yud aleph kaftorim tet parachim kafbet gviim sach hakol memtet. There was 49 different components that made up the menorah. It was all one piece, right? But their artwork, they carved out of that gold 49 different things. Meaning the cups, the flowers, all these different little gadgets and things that were on the menorah to decorate it. Ve'ima menorah bichlal yesh 50. With the menorah included in that, so you have 49 different things that make up the menorah. The menorah itself counts as one. That's 50. Those are the 50 gates of understanding, because the menorah is a hint to the Bina. Here's a small keta, small thing from Parashat Terumah, from the Malbim. But what is he saying here? So he didn't come to teach you breathwork from here, but it's out right there. When you breathe properly, you are sending the understanding of the heart up into the brain. The more you do that, you come up, you have the ability to even make wisdoms of this world that count as a real wisdom of mankind. We want the Torah, our breathing, and our menorah, our 7 wisdoms are only just 7 midot trying to get into the godly wisdom of Hashem. Right? How do you do that? Breathing. Your 7 layers of your lungs send that energy from your heart up into your brain. And then you have shulchan in the north. You have lechem apanim. You have the menorah in the south. You have everything that you need. Keep going. Now we're into a new section. Ba'acharit hayamim. Right? So up until now we were talking Reb Nachman, we were talking the Baal Shem Tov, we were talking Avraham Avinu, Rashi, Zohar, all these different sources. And now we're going to get into our generations. Go ahead, you have a question?
Yeah, I have a question on the last part before. So what he's saying is the heart is really understands, and it's over the mind. Is when you breathe correctly, you bring the heart up to elevate it over the mind, or is it just goes up to the mind?
You're mixing what you want to say with what he was saying.
No, I'm trying
to
what I understand with what
the heart, although it's a different path than the mind is always number one, most important thing you have. Person can be a more hardy person, right? What he was saying is that the brain is the place that is able to receive prophecy, which is a godly light, godly wisdom. That affects the brain. But you need to understand that wisdom is a burst of inspiration. Chokhmah, it's called another name for it, koach ma. What is it? You still can't even define it. It is a definition, but it's not, there's nothing you can do with it really. In order to bring that wisdom down into the details, which the details is Bina, and to bring it into external life, meaning you can live with that wisdom, that godly nevuah, that prophecy that comes down on you, whatever level it is. In order to bring it into your life, you need your heart to be attached to it. How do you do that? Once the wisdom comes into your head, and it starts to be now inside of your body, and you start to take deep breaths, And as more and more you breathe, it comes into your heart. You start to elevate vapors from your heart back up to your brain. The wisdom of your heart, of how you feel, how you understand and connect the dots that are coming down from God. Once your understanding comes back up and reunites with the godly wisdom that's in your brain, then you'll have applications of it. That's what you're saying. You have to be able to bring it into your life. And just hearing ideas of inspiration sometimes are not so applicable. Once they've come down into the heart and you thought about it and you felt it and you think about it a little bit more, then that ascends back up to your brain. Now you have applied wisdom. Now you have what's called dat, right? Now you have connection between the two and you can move forward in life. Bezat Hashem. I think for now though, we are going to stop here for Neshama Neshima, just because there's a whole nother long section. And it's more fitting that we do it piece by piece. Bezat Hashem.